Welcome to Touched and Empowered, a show created to empower individuals to value their lives by hosting think tank discussions that will inspire positive action. Touched and Empowered with Katie and Ace starts now.
So, welcome to this episode of Touched and Empowered. I am Katie here with Ace. Yay!
Hello.
Celebrate everything today.
Everything.
And and we were having a little bit of a conversation where I shared about a conversation I had earlier this week that talked about the virtues.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because I know they're different per religion,
Yes.
but Katie found a really good definition on virtues
Yeah. Because
why not?
it's one of those that, I didn't know the official definition, but this is the one that I found that sounded really good. A virtue is a quality or trait that's considered morally good, a habit of character that helps a person live well and do good. So, my translation is that they are traits and qualities that help guide our moral compass, which we talked about in a previous episode.
Mm-mm. And we just looked up per religion, and I was sharing with Katie from the Nichiren Buddhism perspective, but I'd love for you to list everyone else's, and then we'll go to mine.
Okay, so let me move this over to the screen so it's a little bit easier for me to read. So we did, it popped up with the classic virtues, which are Greek, was prudence, justice, fortitude, and temperance. The theological virtues from Christian perspective were considered gifts from God, that is, faith, hope, and charity. And then the seven heavenly virtues, which is a mix, are pretty much virtues that are the counterpart to the seven deadly sins. So it's chastity versus lust, temperance versus gluttony, charity versus greed, diligence versus sloth, patience versus wrath, kindness versus envy, and humility versus pride. And then it popped up with a kind of universal virtues that are kind of common,
Mm,
that are honesty, integrity, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, respect, responsibility, and perseverance, which all of those are ones that, those I wouldn't had labeled them as virtues when we talked about them before, because we were just talking about our values
versus virtues.
versus
Yeah,
virtues.
yeah.
But it's interesting that there's a lot of them that are similar across different faiths and religions, and
Mm-hmm.
that there's kind of like a universal synchronicity
Mm, mm-hmm.
between some of these.
Yeah, that's that. So what I found interesting is like the four that I described to Katie were like none of those.
Yeah, the four virtues that you had described, which we looked up for a little bit of clarity, were the four. I cannot English today. My apologies.
Viva.
The four virtues of the Buddha's life were eternity, happiness, true self, and purity. And it also says that there were four infinite virtues of boundless pity, compassion, joy, and impartiality. And then the three virtues of a Buddha are sovereign, teacher, and parent. So,
Yes,
I mean, there's some that are like similar,
but some of them that are like not
but,
even thought of.
and then
Yeah,
there are some of them that are not knowing anything about the religion. Sounds like that it's out of left field, but it makes perfect sense based on everything you've told me about your faith.
that is true. Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned. We're going to go on a little bit of a tangent, but
Yep.
the seven deadly sins. So in Nichiren Buddhism, I guess there's a mention of sins in like the liturgy that we read, but it's not as focused on. Instead, it's like the 14 slanders.
Oh,
Do you want to Google that?
yeah.
And yeah, it should come up in the Nichiren library, Nichiren Buddhism library. But the 14 slanders, like, There's a letter. So to give you a little backstory about Nichiren Buddhism, it was created, it was reprised, I want to say, in 13th century Japan by a Buddhist monk named Nichiren Daishonin. And Nichiren Daishonin put together the chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
Mhm.
And then, well, he put together, he revealed it. Myoho Renge Kyo means the Lotus Sutra.
Okay.
And then Nam Myoho means the devotion to, which you can
Okay.
break that down in so many different ways.
Yes.
But essentially, Nichiren Daishonin, what he did was he was writing letters to his disciples at the time, while he was banished to this island where he couldn't eat, drink, and he had no clothes, and he was basically going to die there. But his father, his yeah, it was an isolated island. It was basically like Alcatraz, except no shelter.
No
Um,
buildings. Yeah.
so and it was freezing. So like his disciples would send him like clothes, food, every so
Supplies.
often, supplies to survive.
Right.
And then he would write back these letters in response out of appreciation. And one of them was called the 14 Slanders. So he lists the 14 slanders as in the 14 negative causes that you can create
Right.
that will cause negativity. Um,
Which looking at the list makes perfect sense.
please share the
Because
list.
it says that the first 10 are offenses against the law itself, and I'm assuming law of man,
No, the mystic law.
the mystic law. Okay.
So the mystic law is what we consider essentially Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. It's the law of cause and effect.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you
Karma.
for clarity. And then it says the last 4 are offenses against fellow believers
Yeah, that believe also in the law. Yeah.
that also believe in the law. So if we start with the first 10, it's arrogance, negligence, wrong views of the self, shallow understanding, attachment to earthly desires, not understanding, not believing, adverse or scolding with knitted brows.
So frowning.
That's a very artistic way of saying frowning, but I
Yep.
appreciate it. Harboring doubts and slandering or defaming. And then the offenses against fellow believers is despising or scorning, hating, envying, and bearing grudges. Now, I will say that these 14 slanders, I see a lot of parallels to like the 10 Commandments that I vaguely remember when I was little and studied.
What makes me laugh? I agree. Well, one of the commandments was like don't kill.
Yeah.
Notice how that's not on there.
Yeah,
Like,
that's not on this one at all, actually.
yeah, but I mean, like, if you're gonna respect life, usually you don't kill it.
That's
So it's
true.
okay.
True. But again, that's part of from what I know, which isn't a lot about the Buddhist faith, is that it's life above all else, for lack of a better, that all life is honored.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I remember from my grandfather, who was a Buddhist. Because he had shared that a handful of times when about how I think it was, I don't remember after which war. I think it was World War II. Might have been World War One. After one of those, when he came back, he decided to change his faith to Buddhism.
Ah, okay. Yeah, and there are different sects of Buddhism very
Yeah, I
similar
don't know
to.
which one he was.
Yeah, mine is very specific to chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo and
Hmm.
um practicing with SGI. So,
Right.
like Orlando Bloom, Tina Turner, all of them. So, to give you an idea of it, the 14 Slanders, which is really interesting. Notice how there's 14 and then there's 4 virtues and like all the other stuff.
Right.
Yep. They are opposite if you think about it, the virtues versus the slanders.
That's true. And it makes sense because if Slanders or the sins, if we're using the Christian terms for those mighty seven, if they're quote unquote wrong, then the opposite of them is right or true. And it's interesting that this is coming up because I just did a bunch of mindset work
Oh, fine. Okay.
where I was sharing with someone that if they were having a limiting belief, a limiting doubt, and they recognized it because they were feeling their energy drop, they were feeling low, and they didn't know how to get out of this, as they put it, funk. My tip to them was acknowledge what you're feeling. What would you label it as? And if it doesn't feel good, then it's not true. So the opposite must be true.
Yeah,
And
that's a good way to put
and
it.
so their question back to me was, well, I'm feeling like I'm just not good enough. And I'm like, okay, so what's the opposite of that?
You're good enough.
You're good enough. And they're like,
Or
what? So how does this work? And I said, well, if you've decided that you don't like how it feels to be not good enough and you want to be good enough, choose to be good enough. And they're like, how can you do that? And I said, easy. Go back and think of memories when you were good enough. When you pulled a straight A without studying for it. When you were picked first for whatever team. When you got an unexpected raise or unexpected praise from someone. Find all these little pieces of your mind is a search engine. Your brain is designed to search for stuff. And they just started laughing. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you were right. I feel so much better. Thank you."
yeah. Yeah, and sometimes like that decision takes subconscious work. And
Yes.
that's fair. I mean, like a lot of the times when we're listening to affirmations over and over and over again, that's how we switch. And we create that foundation for our subconscious to realize.
It does help. It definitely helps, but that's also it's wonderful to receive the affirmations and to practice the affirmations, but you also have to do the work to rewire your brain to confirm the affirmations,
Right.
because otherwise it's like throwing a pizza in the oven and expecting it to cook, but you never turn the oven on.
Ah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
You have to turn the oven on, let it heat up, and then, you have to do a little bit of prep work. And so the affirmations and everything do help, but there are parts and pieces that go with that. So then it becomes implemented. It becomes,
Mm.
you embody it. It rings true 100% of the time, and then you don't have to think about it anymore.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think there was a day where I was talking to Katie and I was like, I had this fear of being a burden. Remember this? I was like, I had this fear that I was being a burden
I
and an
remember.
inconvenience.
Yes.
And then I did a lot of inner work that day.
Hmm.
And then I was like, hey, I think we've changed that. And you're
Yes.
you're like, yeah, you did. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, because you walked me through the process on why you were thinking that you were a burden, and then how you didn't want to be a burden,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
wasn't sure where that flip was, so to speak.
The flip
A-
actually, I don't think I told you it, but the flip is accepting myself for who I truly am.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I did tell you. Okay, so that was the flip, but in between the flip was the crying.
Oh, yes.
Was the where did I feel this? Why did I feel this? Is there any repressed emotion that needs to be released because I felt this? And then clear just chanting, doing a lot of
Right.
chanting, and then like the tears came out, and I went, "Oh, this is the flip." Okay.
And that's the fun, wonderful things about our emotions, because I believe that our emotions are A, triggered by our thoughts. B, makes them indicators of our thoughts. If there's something subconscious going on and we don't, and we're feeling icky, we can't recognize consciously what it is. Sometimes it's our subconscious working. And 3, we have full control of our thinking. And if we choose to think the positive is true, the emotions will follow. And it raises your vibration and it opens up the clarity. It opens up the optimism and the curiosity.
Or the panic, both.
It will sometimes open up panic, but the choice is, am I going to let this panic overwhelm me? Or am I recognizing this panic because this is something new, this is something unexpected, this is something I've never felt, thought, done before? What's the reason behind it? And then you can move forward.
Yeah. And usually the reason, so a lot of people think of anxiety attacks and panic attacks. A good portion of the time I get it. They are terrifying.
Yes.
I've had one before. I get it. But sometimes if they last only a minute, it's because you've changed a habit
Mm-hmm.
and your body is still reorienting itself to the new habit that you've installed. So,
And you can tell it's working because it's only a 1-minute panic attack versus a 1-hour panic attack.
or 3 days, depending.
Or 3 days.
Depending on how much you've shifted in your life
Yes.
at once. I'm smiling because this is what I was telling Katie about prior to this call. I have recognized that I've done 5 different things that I normally do on a consistent basis. And I'm noticing it's not just like a software update, it's like a whole OS update.
Right.
So I'm just like, huh. We're gonna slowly move forward as my dog falls asleep on my leg.
And the interesting thing is that sometimes these updates and these shifts and these downloads, or however we're absorbing the information, we don't see the impact that it has in our lives because we're living in it in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But other people see it
Mm-hmm.
and will tell you.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because and the only reason that I'm saying this is because this recently happened with me as to several of the coaches. Mindful Nuggets, Michelle and William, have literally told me that over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they have seen more animation from me. They're seeing me smile more. They're seeing my vibration, my energy level rise up, and that I am speaking up more. And I was like, oh, I wonder if it has anything to do with this new certification process and all the knowledge that I'm now absorbing because of this. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because part of the uh commitments that I've made as I'm doing the lessons for this certification is I'm committing to smiling more because I know it's going to raise my energy level. I'm committing to having more fun. I'm committing to do one active gratitude exercise a day. So, I mean, there's all these other things I've committed to as well that I'm not going to get into on this call, because they're all personal self-growth stuff. But, just those 3 things alone helps not only raise my vibration, it's raising the vibration of the people around me.
Yeah.
Because it's contagious. People want to be happy.
Yeah, they do. They do. Well, didn't we have a reading together where it was like smile more is like the next thing that
Yes.
we got it. Yeah. 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 I'm see what's funny to me is so Katie's getting like the very positive affirmations. I'm getting looks. And I don't know what and I don't know how to decipher the looks that I'm getting.
My understanding is there's there's two aspects of this. I am getting the confirmation messages from friends, from people who are dear to me.
Mhm.
There are people that I don't know very well who have given me looks like, what is she on and why is she not sharing? There are people that I have distanced myself from, so I don't talk or see them very often, like maybe once a month now versus daily. And the looks that I get from them are, I don't know what's going on with you, but you're not the same person you were the last time we spoke or the last time I saw you. Now, those could be interpreted as bad things, or I choose to interpret them as good things, and that's my choice. But there are people around us who sometimes say comments about them not liking that we've grown or we've shifted or that we're now happier than we were before for two reasons. One, because they're sticks in the mud, in my opinion. Because they're set in their ways and they don't want anything to change. That's what I mean by stick in the mud. And two is because they're jealous. Because they're seeing you grow and improve and they don't know how to do it themselves.
Even though they do. They
Even
just
though
choose
they
not to look
do.
at it.
They have blinders on. They don't see that the universe is giving us everything we absolutely need
In our
to
face.
continue to grow.
Yeah, yeah. Whether we like it or not.
Whether we
Most of the
like it
time
or
we,
not.
yeah. I mean, so it was interesting. I have probably like maybe 3 days ago or so, I saw a bunch of people that I haven't seen in like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of gave me this look of like,
Oh.
hi. And I was like, hi.
The look and judging of, wow, that's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, that was different. Yeah. And this is kind of like virtues to a rabbit hole, but it's
Yes.
okay. It's
But no,
okay.
but it applies to it
It does. It does.
because, we're talking emotions, we're talking mindset stuff. We're talking about how we're choosing to live our lives. And that's what
True
the
self.
virtues are. They are tools or choices that people are making to guide them through their life.
True self, eternity, purity.
All of them.
No, I always forget the
You're
fourth
gonna
one, but
remember it. Try again.
happiness.
Yes.
Yay, I got it.
I'm like,
Yes.
I know you know it.
I'm smiling. I should know it, right? Yeah, no, it is interesting because like when now that we fully embody it, right?
Right.
It's a little different.
It is. And the beauty of all of this is that we can do it in little steps.
But then eventually, according to Katie, so I've been telling Katie about this, and I always say this to her, I'm like, why are people looking at me differently? It's been only a week or two. And there's so much you can change in a week or
Yes.
two if you do it consistently.
And even if you don't want to acknowledge it as self-healing, spiritual growth, finding your virtues, finding your why for existence, label it as an attitude adjustment.
I mean, those are all really big things for an attitude adjustment, but
Yes,
sure.
they are. But still, if
Sure.
you are not comfortable acknowledging all of this great work or sharing that you've done this work, because sometimes we don't want to share our personal growth story. It's nobody's business but our own.
But sometimes we can't
But
help it because it's what we look like.
yeah, and trust me, it's fun when someone comes up and says, "What's going on with you?" I had an attitude adjustment. I mean, have
I
a
don't
little
know,
fun
an
with it,
attitude adjustment.
I had
I,
an attitude adjustment. I feel good. I had an attitude adjustment.
that's funny, but when I think attitude adjustment, I think someone slapped you across the face and told you to fix something. Like
Yeah,
that's what it
but
sounds like to me.
that's yes, there is people who will take it in that negative connotation. But
Okay.
it, again, I'm looking at it from the standpoint as to if I say, I just got my attitude adjusted, that sounds like something bad happened. But if
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I just had my attitude adjusted. Well, what did you do that you are now smiling, laughing, happy, whatever? So it's the context of the phrase. What's going on around it? How are you saying it? How are you presenting yourself versus just the words by themselves? Because just the words by themselves could be either positive or negative.
Okay, so we're gonna go on another side tangent on this one. Sorry, Nicole,
Okay.
but I promise we'll come back. All right, so because I am Filipino, yes. My father's side of the family actually comes from a place called Iloilo. It's an island, one of the
Okay.
many islands there. And people are known to be very charming there. And then the way that they speak the dialect is very sing-songy, like hi and fa la la la
Very
and
flowy.
charming and pretty. The funny thing is you can say I want to kill you and mean it in that language, in that dialect, with that sing-songy attitude.
And it sounds
And
beautiful.
and it sounds beautiful and you wouldn't know that it's true. Like they want to kill you. Like right? I know that we're bringing this up a lot and I
Yes.
don't know why, but whatever. Bringing it up anyways. So there are times when I say something and I really mean it, but then most people don't think I'm being serious because of that type of cultural Passover type of thing.
True, but also
So I'm
if
sorry.
go ahead.
So when you say I had an attitude adjustment, it still to me sounds like you got smacked in the face. But sorry, that's just my side tangent. Now we're back.
No,
Please continue.
but true, that's understandable because I didn't know that before about what cultural references you were bringing to the conversation, so to speak. And the same phrase might not work with someone from another country besides the
Or a different
Philippines
island for
or
that
the
matter.
US or a different island for that matter.
Yeah.
My family, for example, would completely understand the reference if I'm laughing and smiling and say I had an attitude adjustment. They would get that. But again, that's my little region here in Maryland and my family who's scattered across the United States. That's not a universal thing. So I will rephrase and say, use a phrase that expresses yourself, that your community can acknowledge and understand because they have the context of the phrase. Or you could just be like me and not care what strangers think when they hear me say I've had an attitude adjustment. If they choose to take it negatively, that's their choice. I have no control over that. But
And then there's
I'm
me.
not gonna let it impact me.
Right. And then there's me who calls Katie later. Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Because thinking that she got slapped in the face. Anyway, sorry, I'm back. Yes, yes, that's helpful. Yes,
I mean,
that's good for me to know.
I'm sure that there are phrases in California that if I heard without context, I would probably be concerned as well.
You know what phrase? So we're just gonna reach out to our Midwest people out there.
Yes.
I didn't know that's not my favorite means I hate that beyond despair. Like I had no idea that phrase.
Really?
Yeah, I found that out later. Like if somebody from the Midwest eats something and goes, "That's not my favorite," that means they really did not like it. Like that was disgusting.
Oh,
Like they'll never eat it again. And I found that out. Somebody else told me like that's what that means, culturally speaking. And
culturally speaking.
I
Yeah.
went back in all of my binders of like memories and going, oh, so that's what they meant.
Yeah, and same thing with the southern phrase, "Oh, bless his heart." It sounds very sweet and like, "Oh, this is just so kind, bless his heart." But really, it could mean so many different things on the scale of this is a really nice, sweet person and he's fantastic to that was not a good thing.
I've gotten that. I've
The bless your heart.
the bless your heart, not a good thing. Like,
But again, it's one phrase, but it could be used for so many different things depending on what else is going on around them.
And that's why our virtues, they, regardless of what the cultural aspects are,
Right.
they all sustain the same energy, I guess.
Yes, because the idea of the virtues, no matter which faith it is, or if we use the universal ones, for example, is that they are designed to help be guiding posts to help us improve towards the positive, to be on the good side of things.
Towards
towards the good. The interesting thing that I found is that they also relate to the universal laws. Like, for example, patience is a virtue, and the law of compensation.
So outside of the law that
Buddhist has a different form of law.
Yeah,
I have a different series of laws from the studies that I'm doing through the Theta Healing and mindset work and everything else like that, is to different universal laws.
Gotcha. Because when it comes for me, I'm like that. There's just that one.
Right.
So when I hear that there's other ones, I'm like,
no.
Not no, but more of that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Please share.
Well,
Happy to hear about it.
We've done theta work before.
Yeah.
Okay. And during that process, I have introduced you to the law of compassion. And the law of compassion is just that. It is compassion. We want people to be compassionate with others, to hold space for other people, because we don't know everything that's going through their mind. We don't know everything that's going through their house, what's going on behind closed doors.
I thought it was a pink bubble that you put me through. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's the visual that I'm giving you, because to me, compassion is a form of love. That's the visual that I'm giving you when we do Theta Healing.
Yes, okay. Thank you. This clarifies a lot. Please continue.
Yes, you are passing through a cloud of love when we do Theta Healing, because I want you to feel safe, supported, cared for, and everything else like that. And it's just a pink cloudy bubble for it. But
I'm so sorry. This is my perspective of just sharing. But please continue. Yes.
Yeah. Just let's float up through pink bubblegum cloud. Why not?
It works. But
it works. It does work. But the purpose behind it is, because the laws that you have are guiding posts, just like the virtues are guiding posts. And these universal laws that I am referring to in reference to compassion and compensation and magnetism, and I don't even remember how many more there are. Harmony, that's another one. These are all used to help guide us towards being a more productive, happy, and secure individual that lets us do what we were designed to do on this planet.
Yes, which reminds me, I'm going to ask for Katie to do a Theta Healing before I let her go tonight. So with that in mind, everyone, I love you all.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us for this episode, and we will see you next week.
Yep, when I'm transformed. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that the discussion today will inspire you to take positive action in your life. Until next week, be empowered.